Hey folks, Pat that Halloween movie collector back here with another video pondering things for spooky season. Did a couple of videos where we're speculating different things in different Halloween films, like if they had different masks and different actors in certain films. But what if Halloween 3 was an actual continuation of Halloween 2? Now, put aside Halloween 4 because that's set 10 years ahead. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to come back, so they had to kill her off. And now it's her daughter, and that whole story plays out, which I love. I love Halloween 4. I love the whole storyline and everything about it. But what if in 1982 they worked on a Halloween 3, where it picked up from the end of the original Halloween 2? Now, you've just blown up Dr. Loomis. You've seen Myers' mask burn. Well, you've seen him do the firewalk, and then you've seen his mask burning. Where the hell do you go after that? Right? I mean, they just pretty much brushed it under the table in part 4 that they both survived. There's no way they were really going to survive that. But how could you justify them surviving? This isn't like the bullshit ending of H2O, where it was a paramedic and all that bullshit. How do you think they could have resurrected Myers from the end of Halloween 2 to make a Halloween 3 that actually picked up in the same universe with Myers rather than what I love? I love Halloween 3. But what if they had gone the Myers route? What could they have done? Okay, maybe Dr. Loomis did survive it. Because you don't even see Loomis at the end of it, but you see Myers walking on fire. Now, how do you justify that? I mean, you can justify it that he fell and he's burning, and maybe, he's just burned beyond recognition. Maybe they do come in and put it, for all its purposes, put him out. And he is almost like Freddy Krueger underneath all his, because he'll have to go out and get the baggy ass overalls. He'll have to go out to get overalls, have to get another mask and all that stuff. He could have broken out of the hospital. A lot of the stuff could have played out the same way. Not necessarily the transfer. Well, then again, they could have did the whole transfer on Halloween because it would have been the first time they did it. Second time, I'm sorry. The original was the day before Halloween. So it would have been technically the second time they transferred him on the holiday. But he could have just been, what if he was like Jason or Freddy, where he was just completely burned up and looked like shit underneath that outfit? How could the storyline have picked up? Well, okay, Loomis could have survived. Could have been a little disfigured and whatnot, and he could have been there to make sure Myers was put away. And they could have did a bit of a time jump. It wouldn't have really killed it if they did a time jump. Maybe set it a year or two ahead, because they'd have to heal. I mean, he's burned beyond recognition. They'd have to do some healing, so to speak. It is Michael Myers. And then they could come up with a plot point where he is able to break out. Now, after all the shit he did in Halloween 1 and 2, would he have gone back to Smith's Grove? I mean, in theory, they probably would have just threw his ass in jail, put him on death row, which was part of an unused script. If you go check out Taking Shape 2, the unused scripts from Dustin McNeil, there was one where he was going to be on death row, which makes sense. I mean, look what he did. I mean, because you factor in not only part 1, now you're including Halloween 2, where he chased everybody to the damn hospital. How would he have gotten more overalls? How would he have gotten another mask? Was there a Vincent drug just because he sort of like he took the mask in Halloween 4? How would that have all played out? I mean, it's pretty tough to figure out. I mean, part 4, shout out to Alan B. McElroy. He came up with a great concept of how Myers could do it. He's been laying catatonic in a hospital all those years, and he is all scarred up and whatnot. Dr. Loomis survived it. But since it being so close, like if they went in 82, which Halloween 3 came out in 82, how could they have done it? They couldn't have done a 10-year time jump. Maybe a year or two time jump. Everybody heals, and then you come with a vehicle of him, sort of like the transfer. Maybe they're transferring him from some hospital that he's been recuperating in to a maximum security prison and putting his ass on death row. Or, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to see Michael Myers on trial, because you don't just go to prison and automatically they give you the death penalty. You have to go on trial. I don't know. We don't want to see that. I don't think we want to see him on trial. That would sort of kill the mystique. sort of gloss over that, sort of like how it played out in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Just sort of glossed over it, and it was just in the background, and they said, Myers' trial and whatnot. I don't know if I want to see him sitting in a courtroom. And then you go from there. And come up with some new characters. Maybe Sheriff Brackett is still there because now it's only maybe a year or two time jump. And Sheriff Brackett is still there. You bring Charles Cyphers back into the fold. Maybe you meet Paul, Annie's boyfriend that you never met in the original. Maybe he's around. Maybe you meet, well, you're not going to meet Ben Train because he did get killed in part 2, so that's still canon. Maybe Paul hooks up with Laurie. Who the hell knows? I don't know. There's no Hawkins at this point because that's not even a thought. So you'd have a whole group of characters come in that you could have picked up from part 2. You could have met Eddie Lee. Could have met Sally, who was on the phone with Alice. You could have met what other people that were they talking to that could have came into play. There's several characters. If I'm missing one, by all means, throw it out. See, it's tough to think about what they could have done. That's why I was doing this, because I just love to speculate on shit like this. Why? Because this is what I do when I'm in the Halloween room. And I'm a big fan of Halloween 3. And I do have a whole Halloween 3 wall section over here. And I have a bunch of it. If you want to see other stuff in my collection, I have a ton of it here. I'm probably going to do an updated Halloween 3 video soon, just for the Halloween season. So let me know your thoughts. How do you think they could have picked up in part 3 had it been directly after part 2 in 1982? Let me know. I'd be curious. I would love to have seen if they could have got Tom Atkins in it, because Tom Atkins would have been great. Would love to have seen him somehow in the fold. It would have been cool. But let me know. He could have been Michael's doctor. How cool would that have been? I mean, his doctor, not necessarily his psychiatrist like Loomis. The two of them could have been like tag team, Would have been pretty cool. So let me know your thoughts. How they could have done this and how it could have progressed from Halloween 2 had we not gotten Halloween 3. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Help push the algorithm out to all the Halloween fans, and let's get it's spooky season is right upon us. So let's get some more Halloween and horror fans in here, and there'll be a lot more coming in the next couple of weeks right up to Halloween. Last year I did my 31 days of Myers. So I'm trying to think of something cool to do this year for the month of October, releasing a Halloween video each day. So I'll come up with something, see where it goes. Any suggestions, by all means, hit me up in the comments. And while you do that, hit the subscribe button too. Love to see this channel hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's doable, but you got to hit that button. It doesn't hurt. And until that point, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.